Tuesday night. We know where you are. You're here with us. We got Just Dave, who's munching on some tacos. Got John Shear, who looks like he's 12 this week.
Thanks.
We got, and of course, Jake Malik and myself, JB Ellis. Now, if you guys are watching right now, in a couple of weeks, if you live in the Atlanta area, turn on the radio. We're going to be on there. We're going to be doing our Tuesday night show will be airing Wednesday mornings at 7 a.m. And since we love football, we're on the NFL Alumni Media Network. We're actually going to be doing an NFL pregame show every Sunday at 12. So forget about the four-letter word that you watch a pregame on. Forget about schmucks and child broadcasting service. You want to get the real deal of what's going to happen on Sunday, you're going to watch us or listen to us.
Well, it's
Sunday at 12.
It's our return to Atlanta, gentlemen. For JB and John and I, this is I don't know if I call it a homecoming.
It's the market that loves us.
It's part of our.
It's a return.
And the good news is that we're going to be just all football the whole time and no commercials because we don't have any sponsors yet. So you don't have to worry about listening to 5 commercials in between.
Dave, such optimism you have.
I'm saying yet. So this is ground floor opportunity for you guys to jump on board and be a part of a great deal.
And if we celebrate with alcohol, obviously I can't drink any, because I'm underage.
Well, yeah, 12-year-olds should not be drinking.
I mean, again, I guess start it now, even though it's not listening audience yet. For those who will be listening in the future, there's got to prepare this. For those that are listening, John normally has, a decent beard. Dave still has a better one, and JB has a solid. I would call it a goatee. JB doesn't do a full beard; he does more of a goatee look. So, but John has a decent beard going. He looks like a naked mole rat on his face,
and you can't grow anything, can you?
But you know what? I admit that I can't, and I just accept that and move on. But I don't look like I'm 12 years old when I shave. I look quite like this. I don't really change much with my look. I mean, I just kind of look like a woolly mammoth when I don't really shave. But you, John, just look like a little bit of a child. I'm just saying. Anyway, Dave, what's up with the taco sitch today? What do we got?
So ran out of corn tortillas. So of course my lovely Aunt Marie made the world's biggest taco out of some New York steak we had. And once again, not anything I've ever had before, but it's delicious. So I'm going to be quiet until I finish this.
Yeah.
So I have a suggestion. I think we should all come with equal sized taco next week. And we should have a taco eating contest so you can down our taco first. Beginning of the show.
I don't think anybody wants to see that.
And all of us come with a taco and see who can fish. I bet I could beat all 3 of you.
Hey, Jake,
wow.
Have you ever seen what? Hey, New Year's morning, the biggest event is a hot dog eating contest.
Those are professionals.
Well, we're professionals. This is taco.
We're professionals at a lot of things.
Every week, I'm a professional.
We're professionals at a lot of things, Dave. Eating tacos quickly is not one of them.
During the Super Bowl week, I challenge you 3 to a taco eating contest.
Now, speed.
If we do it another time.
Or duration.
You choose.
Wow. I think I'll sit on the sidelines for that.
Oh, you're weak. Come on.
I'll eat you, but I don't eat fast.
I mean, I think the only way to make it fair is we got to get tacos either made by the same person or from the same place. All right, we're going to ignore John because that's like saying
Next segment.
All right. First thing I want to bring up, John, you and I played each other in fantasy this week, and I'm going to keep it real cordial, very simple this week.
For you, Doc.
See, I'm going to keep it cordial, be a professional, be polite. I'm going to say it's only week 3. It's kind of early. I don't know if we played each other second time this year. I believe we do. We do in week 12. That'll be the true test of our teams, I believe. Week 3, it's offenses are starting to figure it out a little bit, but we'll see what happens. It should be.
How much did you beat him by, Jake? Just cut to the chase.
We didn't play yet.
No, we didn't play yet. No, we're going to play.
2-0.
So what I'm saying is we'll see what happens, and that's it. Good luck.
There's some meat here. I thought you were about to drop the hammer.
JB's
No, you're just
Jake's
trying to pillage is trying to pillage other teams, and he keeps getting vetoed on his trades.
Have you ever played
well.
Civilization on the computer and you just like surround a city and you just steal their supplies? That's what Jake does. He just surrounds cities, takes their supplies, and their supplies are his. He can't do that to me, but he tries it with other idiots and he's successful, but he doesn't do that to me.
Anyway,
Because he knows he
all I
can't.
was
I'm gonna
saying
start-
was
I'm gonna
just
start.
best
Let's-
of luck, John. I'm looking forward to this match. It should be a good one. That's it. That's it. That's all I
Let's
wanted
get
to say.
let's get into real sports.
Absolutely.
First thing I want to bring up is the hate for Coach Deion Sanders. Danny Cannell, Jason Whitlock, they, are like dogs with a bone on Twitter going after him. Danny Cannell is like the biggest clown. Like I used to like Cannell. He was a quarterback for my Giants. He wasn't the greatest, but I liked him
who's
because
that?
he was a Giant.
Okay.
He threw a pick six to Deion, and that was like towards the end of his career, basically.
Mhm.
That's
And
what
I
you
guess
remember
he
him
still-
for. Good.
I think he still holds resentment for it because he's
I-
like a dog with a bone. And Jason Whitlock is going off, Deion this, he's an elitist and blah, blah, blah. Listen, the guy's great for college football. We're all talking about it. Did we talk about Colorado last year? Did anyone care about the Buffaloes?
Nope.
They could have not existed, and it wouldn't have made a difference.
They didn't exist. They were 1-11.
Exactly. So, I mean,
Exactly.
enough already. Why are we hating on
Yeah.
Deion? I mean, he's great.
Hey, I
for
tell
the
you what.
game,
I tell you what. Colorado loves him.
Yeah.
right?
You know, I mean,
They
the
should.
revenue he's brought in, the player quality he's brought in, all of it, and
Yeah. He's
know,
put them on the map.
and Dion is Dion. There's no surprises. Did you expect anything less of Dion? I actually think he's downplaying a little bit. I
So
thought
I-
I expected to see him dancing on the sideline and skirting with his boys and doing all this stuff. But he's got the bling on a little bit, but he's
You, ex-
coaching. You
you
know,
expected a little
Yeah.
shuffle on the sideline with his
Man,
kids.
You know what? Yeah, I tell you that kid from Colorado State did a little Dion going into the end
Yeah, I
zone. I don't know if you
saw
guys
it.
caught that.
I
You
like
know,
I saw that. I saw
Yes.
that.
And then
So-
speaking of that game, right? So Coach Norvell for Colorado State did an excellent job keeping his team in the game. It was a
oh my
20
gosh,
plus
didn't see
point,
that
Yeah.
coming.
Very good
20
game.
plus point spread,
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
16 penalties and a ridiculous. I don't know if it's not really a late hit. It was a dirty hit
it was a dirty hit.
where
Yeah.
where he put the guy put his elbow into the spleen on Hunter, and he's got a lacerated liver.
Yeah,
Now, I don't know. You can't find a college kid, obviously. And I don't want to see
John,
the kid's
watch yourself.
scholarship I don't want to see his scholarship taken away. But as a coach, you got to pull him at that point and say something. You got to do something,
Yes.
right or wrong, Dave.
no, absolutely true. Because actually, by doing nothing, you're condoning it. That was just not good for football. Those are what all the reason why all of these new penalties are being brought together. The big hits that we've grown up watching, and we used to love watching at halftime. Because they play the big hits. But you know what? If you looked at a lot of them, they were just cheap shots of guys that couldn't protect
Yeah.
themselves.
They were
And
dangerous.
if a kid get hurt like that. That's not right, and it was completely unnecessary. And so, on the other hand, I will tell you this: sometimes continuation, sometimes you just go, and things are not intentional. That looked intentional to me, and and it's too bad. But yeah, the coach should have yanked him, and really, NCAA should suspend him for a game.
I agree.
that kind of stuff is just
Without a
That's
doubt.
not acceptable.
it's a serious injury.
And you look at that game, and then there was another play where Shador Sanders was, basically poking somebody in the eye, and that's a lot of Colorado
Not good either.
and,
Like the
and
water
Deion
boy.
haters. And Deion haters are like, "Oh, what about that? That's not acceptable either." I'm not sitting here and saying that was cool, but there are two different situations. One is you're making a hit on somebody, one is you're poking somebody in the eye. They're both unacceptable.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair with the poke in the eye, you really can make somebody go blind in that eye if you're not careful. So not that you're
No.
saying it's downplay. I'm just saying like
Yeah.
that is also really dangerous if you're not careful.
Yeah,
But and I
they're
agree.
both unacceptable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
both are unacceptable.
And he's
and
a
that's
star quarterback. Like, how are you doing that as a star quarterback?
Yeah.
Poking.
That'd be
people
like
in the
Patrick
eyes?
Mahomes, just
Like,
going up to a guy and poking him in the eye and saying "screw you."
Yeah, it's just bad. It's a bad example for young kids watching, and a ton of kids are watching that team right
Of
now.
course.
And you have two ways to go about the game, with class and dignity or without it. And
Well, Colorado doesn't go with class or dignity at all. So.
Yeah, I think so. I think a little bit is that though with Dion and the Flash, and so I think that he's bringing kids that have that little bit of swagger, that little bit of, maybe not the most controlled, and so you're going to get things like what you saw.
I just don't like when players are fighting or not fighting, but like they're bickering before the game. I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is instead of letting your play do the talking or letting your mouth do the talking before a game, you're Shedeur Sanders or you're Travis Hunter or any of those guys, and you're showing your watch. Like that's what you have as your comeback whenever you're arguing before a game. Like your comeback is, hey, look at my Rolex or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, what is that?
That's NIL, and that's young kids getting
That's
young kids getting way too much money without knowing what to do with it. And we talked about NIL, and I have actually zero positive things to say about NIL, at least the way it's structured now. These kids are just getting umpteen dollars, unregulated. We don't even know what they're getting. They don't know what to do with it. And then they have this exceedingly high expectation of what life is going to be, that they just have to be them and people are going to send them money. It's just not life, It's going to be the downfall of college sports, and you're going to see a huge change in pivot and regulation.
I want to bring up to you, Dave,
it's good. Oh,
about
I want to say it's good they're paid, but I agree there's problems. And John, I want to hear what you're saying. I just wanted to say that I do like the idea of it.
And I'm going to paraphrase because I don't have the exact numbers and whatnot, so it's all paraphrasing. But there's a player in the NFL. He signed an NIL deal, and I don't know if you guys heard about this. He signed an NIL deal. He didn't know what he was signing. Like he didn't you know what I mean? He's a young kid. He doesn't really understand what he's signing.
And
so they actually tricked him with the terms. And whatever he gets, the NIL, the people that he signed the NIL deal, they're giving him that money. The money that he gets in the NFL, a large portion of that goes to these people for the rest of his career. And he didn't know that when he signed this deal. So a lot of the money he gets in his NFL career is going right to these people, like a large chunk of that. And that sucks because he can never make his full amount in the NFL. And he got screwed and he didn't know it. And he's trying to fight it and stuff like that. But that's what these kids don't know that. Like they don't understand. They just see you're giving them $250,000 or $1 million or whatever. And they're like, man, that's great. But they don't see the strings attached. And that's the scary part because you're tricking young 19, 18-year-olds into something.
It's pretty pathetic.
No.
That's what makes
it scary.
So important.
And what we're also seeing is that these kids don't realize they owe tax. So especially as the kids, they only get like 20 grand, and they go out and spend it all on a car or something, and then they go, I owe $7,000 in taxes, and they don't have any. They're already upside down. They're
like,
they already got all their NIL money.
Yeah, and then get back to the game. I mean, Colorado State was winning. Colorado came back. They were, like we said, 20-point favorites, 20-something point favorites. And then, everyone, the Colorado State people, the anti-Dion people are saying, you guys had to come back and beat us, blah, blah, blah. You know what? You should have won the game. 16 penalties. Win the damn game. What are you doing? Play discipline. And, the fact that this coach had the nerve to call Dion out, he wears sunglasses. He does this. He's not professional.
I take off my hat and sunglasses when I talk to people. Something like that. I don't.
If that's how he was raised,
16 penalties. He's undisciplined. He doesn't have
the hat thing. Like, if that's how he was raised, that's how he's raised.
God, you can't call somebody out for discipline and have your team go out of the game that you're a 20-point underdog, have 16 penalties, and lose the game because you're undisciplined, and then have that late hit. You know what? You're a fraud. He's a complete fraud.
Well, then so is Dion.
Strong words.
Dion.
Why is Dion a fraud?
Because you were a 20-point favorite at home, and your team got their ass kicked, and you had to have a miracle.
All right, so hold on.
Back.
I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to ask a very simple question, and this goes to everybody. But I want John to just answer first. I just want John to answer this question first. the 2007 and 8 Patriots were undefeated all regular season and all the way through the playoffs until the Super Bowl. And and I only use them because they're an extremely good example that we all watch. I would pick like the Baltimore Colts versus the Jets, but none of us were alive to have seen that. So
Except JB.
this is probably this is the closest thing to that high of an underdog that we'll ever see. The Patriots lost to the Giants. Are you going to sit here and tell me that they were, a failure or undisciplined or any of these things? Are you going to come and tell me that?
They weren't undisciplined in that game. The Giants.
I'm saying, are you going to say that there are any of these things that you're saying that Colorado was because they had to come back and win?
Well, no, Colorado, again, 20-point favorite. Their guys are poking people in the eyes. The fights before the game, they're showing the watch. Like,
all right, John doesn't want to answer the question.
No, it was clear what JB said about Colorado State was the same thing with Colorado.
John,
That's not the question I'm asking about.
But Dion didn't come out before the game and say, Coach Norvell is, a fraud or undisciplined.
Well, he can't. He basically said, "I'm going to lay it on him for what he said."
He's about Dion.
They were both in the wrong. Both of them screwed up.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, he was too busy calling out Dion. If he would have disciplined his team and did what he needed to do, they win that game.
Hold on. So, John, you made a point, though, that you said because Colorado was favored so heavily and they had to come back and win, their frauds. So that's why I brought up the Patriots.
No.
The Patriots
were they play the game, guys.
Yeah.
That's why they play the game.
Exactly.
And underdogs sometimes win. It doesn't make the favorite a bad team or whatever.
Or
that's why they play, especially when you have interstate rivalries, and it is Dion. People are just gun for him. They are good. They're going to bring their A game, undisciplined or not. They were just too amped up. They were making bad decisions. The coach didn't control them. But to JB's point, you can't call somebody undisciplined when your kids, have 16 penalties and half of them are just poor judgment and
agreed.
It'd be one thing if he did say that, Dion's undisciplined, Dion this. Worry about your team, because if you want to worry about your team, you win that game. It was there to take. And that's the last point of this game. People saying, "Oh, the kids stormed the field." It's a rivalry game.
You should never storm the field when you're a 20-point favorite. Never.
John,
You're ranked.
That's not the point.
College kids don't care about point spreads. That's their in-state rival.
They're just happy to win.
So
they just want to take a selfie with Dion.
I forget what college.
You wouldn't want to. I would. I'd love to.
There was a college this week that got fined $100,000 because I think this is the third time their fans have stormed the field, and they got warned twice, and now they've got a $100,000 fine because their fans
doesn't appreciate it.
Do you think the
but
school
at the
cares?
Same time,
they do.
How much? I don't think they do.
When they get a $100,000 fine, they're not going to be happy.
John, you know what that is? That's like one kid's tuition, maybe two.
A lot of money.
Well, no, some schools, Jake, some schools that's a huge difference. Alabama, no.
But at Colorado right now, with the money Dion's bringing in, my point is it's probably not that.
Yeah,
I mean, did you see who's going to be at the game this week? The list of celebrities.
Nope,
it's ridiculous.
No,
I mean, I'm shocked that the four of us aren't going to be there. I know we were all busy. We didn't plan in advance.
Yeah, it's not on my.
The reason why is because the key word celebrities that we're just us. We just do our thing.
Yeah.
We're just.
But look, the point is you cannot like that they were 20-point favorites and they only won by a couple. You cannot like the things that they did off the field. You cannot like the things they did on the field. You cannot like what the fans did. But guess what? You know who doesn't care? Dion or Colorado or any of those guys. They're 3-0. They are nationally ranked.
In college football,
they are working their way up the rankings. They are ecstatic. Everything is going right. So we can all sit here and poke and prod. It doesn't matter. So at the end of the day, it's all, as Joey from Friends once said, it's a moo point. It's like a cow's opinion. It doesn't mean anything.
When Oregon
that's the bottom line.
I'll see you next week when Oregon gets him.
John, go talk to Danny Cannell. Go hang out with Danny Cannell and Jason Whitlock. The three of you could be
I have no problem with that
club.
hit, JB. Next.
You have no problem with that hit. Wow.
No problem.
That's
Next.
fine.
Wow.
Football, baby. Football, baby. Keep your head on a swivel.
Did you
Oh
see
yeah,
that?
you know who's
Keep
got the
your
head
head
on
on a
a
swivel.
Deion Sanders and that Colorado team because they're 3-0. Yeah, I'm kind of enjoying.
Oh,
it.
by the
I-
way, he
I
got
love
hurt
this.
in the first quarter. Then he came back in. Then he didn't leave until the third quarter. So if he had a
Who are you talking about?
lacerated kidney or whatever, why wouldn't you
Liver.
liver, whatever? Why does it take 2 quarters to go to the hospital?
You know what, John? There's
That's
a thing
weird.
called there's a thing called pain tolerance. You know, and
Come
some of
on,
us are a
man.
little, some of us are a
If-
little tough. Some of us are a little tougher than others
If
and can
you're-
play with a little bit
if
of
your
pain.
liver's lacerated, you're not going to play for
Yeah,
2 more
you know
weeks.
what?
Not
Hey,
true.
if you've never
John.
been on a football field and had adrenaline take over,
I'm-
you don't feel anything till the next day.
Yeah, I'm gonna give another example.
100% true.
So easy, and again, Dave, you know this better than anybody. But hockey, John, you know this better than anybody. That they're like the toughest players out there, besides probably football. Those two sports are just like they're tough as nails, all of them.
And
What
but
I
John, you
forget who
really
it was,
you-
but there was a hockey player this year. Somebody on the Knights, and I can't remember who. He had like a broken leg, and he played through the
Yeah.
series.
Jack Youngberg.
Yeah.
That's a good example, Dave. Thank you. But you know what I mean? Like guys play through those things. And I hate to say it, I tend to think a broken leg trying to skate on ice might hurt just as much, if not more, than a lacerated kidney. I'm not saying neither one is, particularly fun or one is better than the other,
Hey,
but I tend to think trying to
LeBron
skate.
James stubs
you
his
know,
toe and he doesn't, and he leaves the
That's-
game. So
look, that's why I didn't
That's
say basketball players are.
and we're not going to argue with you there.
We're not arguing about it. The
But
point
John-
is, though, football players and hockey players are tough guys. And,
You
Dave-
saw that play and you're okay with it.
I have no problem.
That wasn't
I
my
have
question.
no
You saw that
problem.
play.
It's football,
You
baby.
saw-
Keep your head up.
You saw the replay and you're okay.
Keep your
with
head
it.
up.
You haven't answered the question.
He's just
as
trying to
usual.
irritate you, JB. Don't
I
let
have
don't
You know
zero
what?
irritate you.
problem.
Yeah.
John,
So he's got it.
I didn't
Oh,
do
that-
it this time. Normally
dude.
it's me that does it, but I didn't
No,
even do it this time. So.
because we're not going to tolerate late hits.
I'm agreeing with that.
Yeah, we
We'll
can.
tolerate a lot of things. He's still talking, which is great.
I love it. I love he just talks backstage. Like I can see. I think it's like he's like, "Come on, I'm ready. Let's go. I love it." And all I'm thinking is, you have fun back there because you're missing
You
the
know what,
entertainment.
though?
It's up
I
here.
think you guys are feeding into it, and it's exactly what he wanted. So
You know what? That's fine.
Yeah.
I love this.
hey, let's talk about some of these crazy injuries.
I was going to say,
these
can we
crazy
keep
injuries
talking
we're
about injured
seeing.
players?
I mean, some of them, this whole debate about turf versus grass, and sometimes it's just the draw of the game and taking a shot on a knee. I'm glad they didn't show it. Hey, I actually, because I've seen that, I've felt that, and a twisted ankle. I've done it so many times and been in boots. It hurts so bad, and so when you see it, I just sweat. I mean, I just oh my gosh. And you see a guy, poor guy like Nick Chubb, it's the same knee. That's probably
That was
career-ending.
horrible.
That was Joe Theismann-esque.
Yeah,
That's all I
got.
I'm glad they didn't show it. And frankly, if they would have, I wouldn't have watched it because there's no benefit. It's just all bad.
I happened to see it on Twitter like 30 times because
Oh.
people felt the need to put it on there.
Of course, because
It
they're
was-
monsters.
It was awful. I mean, I was so glad that ESPN didn't show it. I had no desire to see it.
No, it's terrible.
It gives me heebie-jeebies just thinking about it right
It does.
now.
It does.
And not
It's-
only,
ugh.
I mean, he's a great player, but if you know anything about Nick Chubb, like he's a really good dude.
Yep.
Mhm.
The guys
Stand-up
in
guy.
the locker room absolutely love him. He's just a great, not like I said, not only player,
He's
but
a good
great
person.
dude. Like everybody loves him on that team.
Yeah.
Great leader. So
And that's
it's
that same
just a
knee
shame.
that's that same knee
Yeah.
that got shot
It's-
the heck.
The problem is it's the same knee,
Yeah.
most likely within some variables, basically the exact same injury.
Yeah.
Depends on what he tore. Maybe
Oh, it's gonna be
he
worse.
didn't tear, maybe he didn't tear his PCL this time, but whatever. He's got basically the same injury.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, man. I hope he's okay, and more importantly, I hope for his sake, forget playing again. I hope he can get back to normal life soon.
Yeah, because
You know what
we
I mean?
saw
Like,
the Alex
yeah.
Smith thing with his injury.
Yeah.
Jake.
Yeah, exactly. It's like this is really I hope one day he can get back on the field. I'm sure he is thinking about that already because that's, I think, a player's mentality. And Dave,
He's
you
a
could probably
dog.
speak on that. But man, I just hope more than anything, I just hope he can return back to normal life. And John, you make a great point with Alex Smith. I just hope that's what I'm looking for. It's just
Yep.
That's going to be tough. And then Saquon, how many weeks is he going to be out now?
3.
No, I don't know, John.
3.
They don't.
That's what they were saying. 3.
So I was reading something today. Granted, it doesn't take this with a grain of salt because coaches do this all the time. Mind games. Dayball said Saquon's doing a lot better today. The swelling has gone down, and he is not ruled out for this week yet. It doesn't mean he's playing.
That's just a competitive thing.
I put all the money in the world I have that says he's not able to go. I mean, it's a short week.
First of all, it's a Thursday game.
Yeah,
if they put him in on a Thursday, they're just as bad as the Dolphins.
That's right.
But the reason I bring that up, don't be surprised if maybe the week after, depending on how well he's feeling, that there's at least consideration. Maybe he's listed as questionable versus as a doubtful or out before the game. Don't be surprised by that. I'm not saying he will play, but just keep an eye on that. There's a chance. Again, if it were up to me, I probably wouldn't even think about it. I just be like, you know what? Take your time. Do what you got to do, man. I know you're a corner piece of this team, but also
listen, he's not a quarterback, but it's exactly like what would happen with Miami last year. And as John just said, it was reckless. So Miami was very reckless last year, putting Tua back in on that Thursday night.
It's the Bengals situation this year.
And now you have Saquon who's coming back on a short week, a game that they're not going to win anyway.
They're not going to win, and it's going to be really bad for him also.
Who are they playing?
San Fran.
Who?
They're going to San Fran.
Oh.
It's
no reason to play him.
I believe we play you after that, Dave.
Yes.
Yes, we do on a Monday night.
Monday night.
But, I mean, the Bengals did this with Joe Burrow, and I said they shouldn't. And they rushed him back. He played 2 games, and now he's aggravated his injury. And they're 0-2. It was stupid for them to let him come back and not – a calf injury, you can – like ankle injuries and calf injuries, you don't mess around with them. You make sure they're 100% before they come
and
back.
Hamstring.
Because those things will linger, and they will hang around for the season if you don't let players get right. And you see it with Joe Burrow, and you're going to see it with Barkley if they don't let him get right. Instead of forcing him back,
that's why the Rams did the right thing with Cooper Kupp. They said, you know what, just go on IR. We want you, but we want you at full health, and that's what you got to do sometimes.
It's one thing if it's a winnable game. They're playing San Francisco. It's
not going to happen.
Game. If they happen to win, it'd be a miracle.
JB, they can be fully healthy, and I don't still don't think they have
winning.
a chance. It doesn't really matter.
They struggle with
Brock Purdy
Arizona.
is going to Brock Purdy, who's not. I mean, he's good, but most people can play it at a decent level. I mean, he plays it better than a decent level, but a lot of guys can play that well to an extent in that offense. It's built. It's very quarterback friendly.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy is going to carve us up like a Thanksgiving turkey, and I am not looking
tons of weapons.
I am just so thankful that I have Christian McCaffrey in fantasy football because it's going to be about the only thing I can watch on Thursday because otherwise it's just going to be an absolute bloodbath, and I'm going to hate it. And I've already accepted it. I've already marked the Giants down as 1 and 2. I'm not even entertaining the thought of anything else.
I'm just going to say one more thing about San Fran. Thank God Tom Brady didn't sign there because he would have been.
God.
Can you imagine him playing quarterback for that team with all those weapons?
Oh, but you saw what he looked like with Randy Moss. Now, granted, that was a younger Tom Brady, but still, I mean,
technically the Giants are 0-3. Technically, right? I mean, they struggle with the Cardinals.
It doesn't matter. We got to win.
They're down big to the worst team in football.
John,
and
the only
reason they won is because the Cardinals are, in my opinion, purposely losing these games when they've been close in both games. I mean, the Giants are 1 and 2.
I mean, John, the Dolphins have been close in both their games. Does that make them 0-2?
The Dolphins
I don't think
look like a top 5 team.
It doesn't matter.
Are a top 5.
It doesn't matter. But your argument was they've been close in both games.
Yeah, the Dolphins are a top 5 team.
I don't know about that. Top 5 teams take care of competition. They couldn't take care of San Diego or Los Angeles. What is that winning on the last second?
The point is, if you're going to make the argument that they're in close games, then don't start talking about Miami because then you should be 0-2. It's the same.
No,
it's a flimsy argument. It's a very flimsy argument
because the Giants haven't looked good at all, and they
had
to have a miracle.
Your argument, no, hold on. Your argument to me was
one half of football.
Hold up. Your argument to me was they have been in close games, so they should be 0-2 and then technically 0-3 because of San Francisco. That's what you said. Those weren't my words; those were yours.
They
And
should
just
be
using your words
0-3,
against you.
yeah.
So the Dolphins have been in 2 close games. It doesn't make them 0-2.
The Dolphins look
If
like
you win
world.
at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if you end up with the win, you get the win. If you end up with a loss, you lose. That's how sports on like a lot
There's
of things
more
work.
to it than that, Jay.
Hang on.
You know better.
Hang on. I'm going to
That
bring
doesn't
somebody in
make
that
us
can help us with
0-2.
wins and losses.
Wait,
It means we didn't play well.
while you're bringing him in, so who do you think the Browns will bring in? So we got somebody saying that
I would just ignore John. Thank you, Dave.
Kareem Hunt, yeah, because I was done with that. Kareem Hunt's going to go visit him, and then there's some kids sitting there at the Colts not doing nothing. And that
would
Brown,
be too obvious. It's the Browns.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be a smart move.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's the Browns.
they don't do smart things. They just flail around like a fish.
So I'll tell you what, hey, Ford didn't look too bad.
No, he looked
Ford
fine.
actually looked decent.
Yeah.
Raphael,
Hey,
what are the
Rob.
odds of who they're gonna sign?
They're not going to look at Indianapolis. If there's anybody that they look at, it'd be Eckers from LA.
Eckler? That'd be
Which
nice.
I'm sorry, Eckler. Which I know everyone wants to say negative stuff like this, but why would you waste draft pickers or why would you waste capital on a running back? It just does not make sense these days.
I hate to say it, but this, call it week, has perpetuated has given validity to every GM that says don't pay running backs. Saquon hurt, Eckler hurt, Nick Chubb out for the season. It's just unfortunate, but it's it's given them like
for sure.
I'm
They-
sure
it's
there's
given
a running,
them
I'm sure
a
there's
lot
a
of credit.
practice squad running back in 32 teams that wants his shot. That he might get his shot, and we won't even think. We won't like, who's this guy? Look, who's probably the rookie of the year and maybe MVP that no one's talking about in LA.
Who?
who would that be?
Was it
Puka.
Jakumum? Or I can't pronounce
Puka
his name.
Oh,
Nakua.
Puka Nakua.
Yeah, I mean, who
I was like,
thought
what is
this
he
guy?
talking about? Hey, look, him
that's-
breaking out. It's eerily reminiscent to when Cooper Kupp broke out years ago. Like something about it is
It's
just
Matt Stafford. I can
It's
tell you
Stafford
Matt
looks at
Stafford.
one receiver and he throws it
that's-
to him all day.
But,
Yeah.
but
That's what
Matt
Stafford
Stafford,
does.
no, Cooper Kupp broke out before Matt Stafford. Cooper Kupp broke out with
No,
Jared
no.
Goff. Of course. Yes, he did.
I looked at this. The best
Yeah.
season Cooper Kupp ever had, Matt Stafford.
What I
The
said.
best
Oh,
season,
absolutely,
That's what I
hands
said.
down. Hands
the
down.
best,
That's not what I
the
said.
best season in
That's
NFL
what he broke
Can't
out.
history.
say his best season though.
Best season in
Oh,
NFL
absolutely.
history was Cooper Kupp. Matt
That's what I'm
Stafford.
saying, though.
Second best season in NFL history. Calvin Johnson, Matt Stafford. Kenny Golladay was a top 10 receiver. Matt Stafford. Like, these guys are good. What's the common denominator? Matt Stafford.
Yeah, but when did Cooper Kupp actually break out? 2019. That's what I'm not denying that Matt Stafford's the dominator. I'm just saying, like, Cooper Kupp broke out in 2019 before Matt Stafford. So the
But you're
point
right.
I was
Cooper
making
Kupp's
was
just like, I'm going to throw to one guy 25 times, nobody else.
that's not what I'm saying.
But
We're
that's
like not
what he
even
does.
listening to me today. I
So,
think.
hey, Raphael's
I'm just
here.
saying
Hey,
this
Raphael's-
reminds me.
Raphael's
Hold on.
here. Yeah.
This reminds me of when Cooper Kupp broke out, and I'm very excited. So, Raphael, what are his odds to win Rookie of the Year right now? I'm curious. Don't worry, Dave, I got
they're
you.
12. They're 12 to 1 right now, but he wasn't even on the board. He wasn't even on the board when the season started. So, and you can always say, "Oh, he's targeted much." Matthew Stafford throws him at this, but if the other teams know that, so I
is also
don't
true.
want to hear that the quarterback is going to throw at him a million times because you know what? The other teams know that. Guard your guy.
Hey,
The best
everyone knew
defense
Cooper
in
Kupp was going to
football.
get the ball, and Cooper Kupp made 13 catches a game.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah,
it
like it was
doesn't matter.
nothing.
Good guys get open. Hey, so Raphael, did you see the Seahawks beating Detroit?
I
Let's
have
not
a
talk
note
about
right
that.
here. My note right here, it says apologize to Dave about the Seahawks we're going to lose. So that's on my note right here. Is that, but that was my first words. We're going to come out says, Dave, I was wrong.
Yeah.
You were correct. Good win, Geno Smith. Good win. So I apologize on that for you.
Well,
Well,
then, you
that
know,
was a horrible
there's
win.
certain- there's certain things, right? And it has really, you know, so much not to do with the players, but just to do with the circumstances. You know, the Seattle gets embarrassed at home to a team they should have beaten. And then Detroit goes and beats a team they shouldn't have beat on the road. And they read all the press clippings. Everyone keeps telling them how good they are. And then they their first home game with the lowly Seahawks that couldn't even score 20 points against the Rams. They were set up for failure, and so that wasn't it wasn't a huge drumming, but I tell you, it was a great game. And
can't give up 14 points off turnovers. Can't fumble
and
a kickoff return, and you can't give up a pick six and expect to win the game. And they almost did, which.
I mean, and that holding on the last play of the game was just.
Oh, that was awful.
Yeah, that was
I don't know how you don't call that.
But let's not
Well,
pretend.
it
like
actually
that's why
happened with us against the
one team let 'em
Steelers,
lost.
actually, in the Super Bowl, the holding at the end of the game. And
Oh, yeah, but the Steelers were winning that. I
Happens
mean,
all the
that
time.
was Jerome
No,
Bettis'
no.
walk-off. That was the end of his career. They were winning that no matter what.
Oh,
No,
John, you're
they
full
weren't.
of it. You know that?
This is now Seattle's hosting Carolina. And what if I told you last week that you don't want to play teams that just want to get out of home off an embarrassing loss? This is a big game for Seattle. They might be overlooking. They're going to be like, oh, look what we just watched Carolina on TV on Monday while we're chilling with our big win. We can beat this team. It's -6. This one will climb up to 6.5. Would not shock me if it moves to 7 because you know what? It's a 4:05 game, so the bettors have all morning to push this up. It's going to be a very popular teaser bet, Dave's favorite parlay bet. So be very cautious. Be very cautious with the Seattle Seahawks this week.
Yeah. Hey, every week I prove myself right in not being a gambler. Because I make the worst decisions.
Well, the books gave it to us this week. We did not have a good Sunday. We had some very lopsided losses, so it was not kind. A lot of the odds, a lot of sports books are licking their wounds right now.
Raph, I have
what
to
did
ask
you lose on most?
I have to ask you this.
Yeah,
we're all thinking it. What happened to your books, and what happened in that game where the Rams are kicking a field goal down by 10 the last
second?
About
that.
What does that do to your books? What in the hell was that? Were the Rams trying to cover the spread or whatever? Like, what in the world?
Hold on. To piggyback off John, before you answer that, I just want you to be very honest with us. And just don't lie to me, because I know if you're lying to me. Did Sean McVay have a bet that you know about on that game? Did he put money on that game? Tell me the truth. Tell me.
He's going to get him fired.
I don't think coaches know as much as gambling as the players do. The coaches I mean, Dave, you know this. They have a million things. They're trying to see their families and wives before they look at what the point spread on Sundays are.
Yeah.
But the players and kickers, they may be swaying the head coach. Hey, you know what? Let's kick a field goal here. And stuff like that. Maybe we can get the onside kick if we kick a field. They may be swaying it.
Stupid.
It was with 3 seconds left. There was no way they
the
could have won the game. There was 2 plays before that.
It was impossible.
Or they could have, for 10 seconds, they could have kicked a field goal and then done an onside, but they waited till 3 seconds and kicked one. You can't win the game because the time expired. So you can't use that excuse.
That play helped.
Again, I ask you.
That play actually helped the books. That didn't actually hurt us because that number opened up at 5.
We know.
Bet all the way up to 7.
So what you're saying is it's a conspiracy by the books in the NFL. Thank you.
So there's a
conspiracy theories.
So there's just tell us there's a script. Let's move on. All right, thank you. Sean McVay knows the script. He bet against the Rams because he's a genius.
Did you get a bunch of phone calls about that from people like, "Oh man, we lost a bunch of money," or did you get any emails or anything about that?
Because it happens once a week. It happens all the time. It happens more in college basketball and NBA than it does in football because they play more games. So it's just common knowledge that we get more of this. How did you guys know that? So we get more of that than emails and questions.
It's pretty amazing how good you guys that make lines are that you could be that close to the number that consistent.
I don't understand how they do it.
Ralph, how do you
There's
do
a science to it. I mean, I'm sure Raphael, when he first started, wasn't this good. You know.
No, but I mean, it's funny how that's why I think a lot of now that we put odds on politics, I think that's why they want to talk to us more about the gambling side of it, because people will dictate more on what money says. You can say a million things you want. Are you going to put money on the things you want? It's totally. That's why I don't believe in polls. That's why I don't believe in this team is better than that one. Okay, you said my team is the best. Okay, put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah. Back it up.
Makes sense.
I agree with that. So, but again, I just got to ask you one more time because you just didn't answer me. Did Sean McVay have money on it? Just like, all right, see, So now Ralph
If
is
the-
just lying to me.
If
and
the
I take
head
offense
coaches
to
are that dumb that they're catching players making parlays, then no, I don't think a
Listen,
head coach
this is what I-
unless
this
he's
is what I
he's
think
from
happened.
Iowa.
Ooh.
Sean McVay's best friend had money on the game, and that's what happened. I don't know. I'm just
Oh,
making
there
that
it
up.
is.
I have no clue.
No, and
You
I
can't bet in
will
California. You can't
assure
bet
you
in
this.
California. So
I will assure you this: high school coaches are too busy to
Yes.
bet. You know, I mean, when you start getting up in those levels, it's no joke. They're working, 12-hour days, and they don't see their family or kids. That's why they get burnt out. And I would, there's just no way. There's no way he even
No, I
knew
get
what was
it.
going on.
yeah,
All right. Well, Ralph, I do have another question. And I don't know if you have odds on it. I'm just curious. There have been these, I call them stupid, but they are rumors at that, whatever, that Aaron Rodgers is going to try and come back for the playoffs and that he's going to be back in January. Two questions. Number one, what are your current odds, which I know you have this, for the Jets to make the playoffs? And number two, this is what I don't know if you have, and I'm very curious about. Do you have odds, and if so, what are they, for Aaron Rodgers to be back by January and then, subsequently playing in the playoffs? Do you have odds on that?
yeah. We have Aaron Rodgers playing a playoff game, and no is
you-
minus 1,000, and yes is plus 550. But I did speak to someone in California that's works in that same hospital, and his procedure is totally different than any other procedures they've done in Achilles. He couldn't specify what kind of procedure they did and all that, but he says it wouldn't shock me if he's ahead of schedule of rehab than normal. But I just don't
Wow.
see it. But he said
I
that
think-
the guy I talked to said there's no way he'll be able to do this playoff.
I think what I'm hearing is there might be some ayahuasca involved in this.
I would not be
this
shocked.
treatment. Maybe some baloney herbal medicines that are
Some
like
mushrooms.
unproven and definitely
Just-
not real. I don't know. Some like crystals might be involved too. Watch out.
Just
John,
realize
behind us-
that not only did Raphael, say that he got information, but he got information from the hospital where the procedure was done. Nobody
I
else
know
in the
that.
world has that information. If you're not watching us, you're missing out.
Ralph is pretty good.
I mean, Raphael's
A lot of I sent out a lot of dumb emails that I hit send, and I'm like, I can't believe I just sent that.
I want
But-
your address book and Mike
but
Dempsey's
Raph-
address book.
How many times does it come back where it's like, I can't believe I sent that, and then you're also like, wait, I can't believe that actually worked.
Yeah, it amazes me the people who respond back to those emails, and
Mhm.
it just blows my mind with that. And I have saved emails that I will never delete. And my email from Elon Musk, my email from
Wow.
from some pope up in the Vatican. So there's some emails that I'll never delete because it just blows my mind that I got a response back.
So
How do
so
you
my
get their email
daughter,
addresses?
my daughter's who's watching, just texted me, Daddy, there's no way Aaron Rodgers is coming back. So she works for an orthopedic doctor up in Mount Shasta, a whole orthopedic firm, and she's giving me all the statistics of regular people text her. So my daughter says, Raphael, that Aaron Rodgers cannot. It's impossible to come back from an Achilles. Thank you very much, Kayla, for your insight.
I don't think he does. I mean, we have him. Will he start game 1 of 2024? Yes, at minus $4. I mean, I think that's more realistic. You know what? When he was asked that question on Pat McAfee, which I'm totally blown away he did that interview. I mean, it was less than 24 hours of his surgery. You can tell he was mentally beaten up during that interview. So I can think of a lot of things he probably said in that interview that he probably doesn't remember him saying in that interview. But if there's any two people that can probably do it, I would say Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier, Aaron Rodgers is going to come back just for spite.
He'll just hand the ball off. I mean, he won't
to show
yeah.
people that
He won't
he
do
can.
anything.
Because if you have enough people telling you can't do something in a cat like that, I wouldn't be surprised.
Pettiest.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. He's all about, I can do it. Screw you. Watch me.
Hey Dave, ask your daughter if she knows
Yes.
a good cardiologist. I need a new one, so ask your daughter if she knows any good cardiologists.
Well, how about get out of the bookmaking business?
You've been watching the Cubs too much.
If you need a cardiac surgeon, though,
brother.
need a cardiac surgeon, we had Dr. Lemaire on here. Great guy.
Oh, there you go.
Columbia.
Well, let's hope he doesn't need a surgeon. Let's just stick with the doctor. Let's hope Rob doesn't need the surgeon.
We're trying to find a surgeon for.
We're trying to find the doctor to prevent that.
I've already had one of those. I don't.
He's got him on speed dial. He's ready.
Speed dial 2, please.
All right. So any has there been any major movements with the teams making a push? As numbers start to change as far as teams looking at what we thought they were going to look like versus reality, and moving in opposite directions.
There's two teams that money's going to continue to flow in, and I hate for me to say this because I know he's clean shaven. He must have a hot date afterwards. But the Miami Dolphins are a top 5 team, and they're probably the second most bet team for futures right now.
Yeah,
behind the America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. It's those two teams right there that are probably getting the most money come in. I mean, the 49ers are getting sharp money. People are betting the thousands and the big money. Public money coming in.
They're always going to get money.
It's probably coming Cowboys, Dolphins, Cowboys. I can check the screen right now, and I'll hit Super Bowl odds, and it just says Cowboys, Dolphins, 49ers. Cowboys, Dolphins, 49ers. And, of course, some Steeler money came in yesterday because that was the last game on TV. That's the last and they always bet the last team on TV, whoever won that game. They're going to win it all now.
It's those darn Yinzers out in Pittsburgh. How dare they start?
It's the last game of the day. They're all drunk.
But I mean, you gotta look at you guys. I heard you guys saying about the Dolphins. Yeah, they're 2-0. They struggled and all that. But look at all the other 2-0 teams. I mean, they all struggled. The only one who's not struggled are the America's team. I mean, the Eagles struggled, and I think they're third on a lot of people's.
America's team has played 2 straight preseason games to start the year. They played the Giants, and then they played the Jets.
And then they play Arizona.
Aaron Rodgers Jets.
Right.
Yeah.
So the NFL has given us another year. We're going to have to hear how the Cowboys are going all the way with an extra 3 preseason games because they're 3-0.
And then they play Mac Jones at home the following week.
Listen, this is going to be the Cowboys season. You ready? It's our year. We're going to win this year. Woo! Regular season ends. All right, we're playing in the playoffs. This is good. They, probably are playing in. Probably they get to the second round. They'll probably.
I mean, look at us. We all agreed months ago that the NFC South was probably going to be the worst division in football, and now they have 3 teams that are 2-0 in that division. So
how about Atlanta?
It's still young. It's still a very young season.
How about the Falcons?
It's early yet.
They were impressive though. The comeback win against Green Bay. They got
who looks good?
in a couple of years.
Love looked drunk.
Jordan Love has looked better than I expected, though.
Did you see the false start that caused him? Did you see that false start?
All I'm saying, I want to say is this. I thought Bryce Young was going to look better than he does, and Jordan Love I thought was going to look worse than he does. I understand Jordan Love has had a lot more time in the NFL and learned from a much better player, of course. So granted, his bar of being better than what I expected is not particularly high, but with that said, he has actually looked like a competent quarterback, and like he could win games, and the Packers are not totally screwed. And on the other hand, the Panthers, I mean, I know he's young and he's a rookie, and that's fine. I can't say Bryce Young has looked really great. I think C.J. Stroud probably looks a little bit better.
But you can get the Packers still at 2-1 to win a division, and then they have the Saints coming in town, which the Saints are probably one of those 2-0 teams that can be 0-2 really, really easy.
Saints look awful.
Yeah,
they look awful.
The Packers really good.
You know what? I can't see the defense look good because Young looked like a deer in headlights. They played a rookie quarterback, and then they played Tannenhill that threw picks all over the place.
Yeah.
Like I said, Bryce just doesn't look as good as I hoped. C.J. Stroud, like I said, he looks good, but right now,
I think Anthony
Richardson looks the best. But he's reminding me of Tua. He's already hurt. It's week 2, and that's not a shot at John. That's like Tua was hurt multiple times last year with concussions. This is eerily reminiscent, unfortunately, and it's really sad to see.
When you're running quarterback, you're going to take more hits, and those big guys like him and Cam Newton they didn't understand that. You're a big guy. I could take the hits. No, they add up.
They are going to tell him as soon as he's back, listen, you can run, but you need to learn to slide, because if you don't, you're going to be out of the league in like 2 years.
I mean,
you'll be the next Andrew Luck.
what's the percentage of the amount of guys in the NFL compared to college? It's like from 101, 110 Division I teams to what, 32? So, how much better of the player must you be? How much quicker?
The player pool is a lot better.
Hey, Raphael, what's the odds on Tua finishing the season?
We did have those odds up during the summer, and everyone was betting no, and everyone's betting no. Their offensive line has been much improved. He hasn't been rushed a lot, and you can tell it's hike, throw. He's not sitting around waiting for it. He knows what he's going to. He's not looking at 3, 4, 5 options. It's either 1, 2, or throw it away. He's not looking for those 4 or 5 options that he did last year. So I think if the way it's going right now, he doesn't get hurt.
But we'll see. Look, all it takes is one blown coverage, or rather blown assignment on the line. Someone gets through, throws them to the ground, and
that's for any player.
That's
right. No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, they look great, but all it takes is one play.
It's no fun when these guys get hurt. Let them hopefully all stay healthy. But unfortunately, that's part of the game.
Unfortunately, Tua's been hurt a couple times, which, I don't know the statistics on it, but I do know that. Once you've been hurt once or you've been concussed once, your chances of getting concussed again are unfortunately higher.
Exponentially.
You haven't mentioned that
it's really unfortunate.
You didn't mention that Richardson's had 2 concussions, that Kenny Pickett had 2 concussions last year. You didn't mention that, but you mentioned Tua. Interesting.
Because that's
interesting that boxers don't have as many concussions as football players.
To answer John,
and soccer players have the most concussions in any sport.
Yes,
John. The reason we're talking about that is because Anthony Richardson just got concussed, and the player that just most recently got concussed and has had the most injury concerns most recently was Tua. It's not a personal shot. It's literally just recency bias. Like, I think of him. Like, it's not a personal thing, John. Don't take it as such. It just Kenny Pickett was not as recent.
It was twice last year. Kenny Pickett was twice last year.
So Raphael, this week coming up, what's hot?
I would probably stick in the NFL, and I hate to do this, but I want nothing to do with the Denver Broncos. I agree. They are on a tailspin. What are they going to do with Russell Wilson's contract? Because to me, it looks like Sean Payton doesn't want him there.
Ruff,
I mean, and we're only in week 2. I like the Dolphins. I just don't see Denver's defense, especially their secondary, controlling not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 weapons that Dolphins have. Grab it now, because this will be a solid 7 by kickoff. It's 6.5 right now.
Yeah.
Listen, it's real simple. When they say Broncos country, let's ride, they're talking about let's ride to the glue factory, because that's where they're headed.
I mean, I just don't know what they're going to do. That's probably one of the ones. And I'm going to stick with I like the Green Bay Packers. If I think their offensive line will be able to protect Jordan Love, because the offensive line of the Saints can't protect Carr. Carr's been hit a lot. No one's talking about that. How much Carr?
Christian Watson will be back, which will be really nice for Jordan Love.
So I think going to Lambeau Field as the Saints get their first loss. I like Green Bay. You're laying a soft 2, so that's pretty much just telling you just got to win the game.
Yeah,
it's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's a field goal. Anything over a field goal, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they're pretty evenly matched. Those 2 teams are probably close to one another.
I would much prefer the Packers, especially because they're at home in that vacuum of a scenario. Plus, Jordan Love looked like the better quarterback.
Just a coin flip at that point.
Not going to sit here and tell you Jordan Love has been the greatest quarterback since Aaron Rodgers, but
Carr
doesn't look that bad. No, but Jordan Love looks okay.
So since Colorado's been a big part of our conversation today, what do they have coming up this week, and how's that look?
They're about 21 and a half, and they were going to lose no matter what. Now they're going to, because they lost their best defensive guy. I mean, not because of what happened in Colorado State. They're missing one of their best defensive guys, and their defense has not been good. TCU scored against them. Colorado State scored against them. So what's Oregon and USC going to do these next couple of games?
Hey, Mike, do me a favor. If you want to talk smack, get your butt on the show. If not, scurry away, because as per usual, it's the Cowboys' year. You'll lose in the divisional, and nobody will care about you next year. Thank you.
The Cowboys' regular season hasn't even started yet. They played the Giants.
I know.
And the Rodgers.
Look, Mike wants to come at me about my Giants. I'm not pretending they're good. You're right, JB. And look, what happens every year with the Cowboys? They lose in the divisional round. So I'm not worried. They're America's team. Yeah, okay. Have fun with that losing in the
Hey, Mike, thanks for coming on the show. Come on, guys. Yeah.
I know. Look, I know Mike, and
okay.
Mike is
Okay.
Mike is like John. He likes to push my buttons. So
All right.
I'm just telling him, watch yourself because your team will lose in the second round. And
Jake and John's buttons get pushed. Really, they go defensive mode really, really quickly. You went your one thing about Tua, and John blows a gasket. You went one thing about the Giants, and Jake blows a gasket. Very sensitive.
The Cowboys will lose to San Francisco in the playoffs. It'll be over. We already know the script.
I know. Brock Purdy will throw for like 400 yards. It'll be fun. And Dak will throw like 6 interceptions because, as per usual, he's still not good.
One day we'll find out that there's an actual script. And
you know what? The first line of every script is, John? The first line of every script, the Cowboys will do well in the regular season and lose by the divisional round. That is that's period, end of story. No matter who they're playing, they haven't decided that. They are going to lose by the divisional round, and that's it.
You can't write a script right now. They're still on a writer's strike. There's no script.
Just winging it.
Just winging it.
Very good.
And I like your Aztecs to cover this on Friday night against Boise. Grab the +7 now.
All right. Nice. Well, yeah, if I do that, I can assure you one thing, Raphael, they won't. So
I was waiting for you to say you were going to parlay it with somebody.
We'll parlay that with the Seahawks winning. So, all right, we got to wrap up though because we're at 56. And Dave, you have a show in.
I have a show.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
So
you can tell the Seahawks
Mike,
talk.
Next time, join the show at a normal time, please, because if you know anything about our show, which obviously you don't, we wrap by 9:30 Eastern. Good try. Too bad. You come on next week if you want to talk smack. All right, Raphael, tell the people where they can find you, my man.
You can find me on Twitter or X at VSI.Sports. You can find me on Instagram at Raphael Esparza. You can find my prop bets at You Can Bet That. Have put some great prop bets today. Will Kyle Schwarber have more home runs or base hits? You can bet that. Threw up that bet this morning, so that's a fun one. So you can find me all in those places.
All right, JB.
JB_the program. Confidential tomorrow. South Florida Tribune. JAJ Sports Express. But more importantly, Hawk Talks up in just a couple of minutes. If you're not watching that, I don't know what you're doing.
John.
Sideline Sports, NFL Alumni Media, and soon FM Radio in Atlanta in October.
Dave, don't worry. I would never forget you. I wanted you to go last, and that's why I'm going to go, because I want you to wrap this up, because you have been so awesome today. You guys can find me on Twitter at Jake_Malik. You can find Sideline Sports on all the places he's scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Dave, tell the people where they can find you and wrap us up.
Dave, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram under Dave, Dave DeRusher. But as JB alluded to, and the guys, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Hawk Talk has really taken off. This week we've got Edwin Bailey, 11 years with the Seahawks. He was there when I was there. And R12 is a young man that we met at a watch party. And we are drawing. We got 500 followers within 3 weeks, and we're raffling off a helmet. Come on, watch live and find out what we're going to give away when we hit 1,000.
Love it, love it, love it. All right, Dave.
Be good humans.
That's right. And we'll see you next week.